Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivardhari
Givaradari
Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivardhari
Givaradari
Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana
Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana
Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, today we read Srila Prabhupada's Nectar book, and we can sing a new song, something new. This is called Nama Sankirtan, written by Srila Narottama Das Thakur, and it was this song can be sung during kirtan also, in the evening kirtan, the morning kirtan too, samsara, and then we can sing this also. So we'll sing like this, and you can see on the screen, right? Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Hare Hare Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Shri Madhusudana Giradhari Gopinata Madana Monaha
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita
Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Shri Rupa Sanata
Oops, sorry.
Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha
Chai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan Jai Hoite Vigna Nash Abhishat Puran.
Chai Gosai Kori Charavandan Jaha Hoite Vignana Sabhista Purana
Chai Gosai Char Mui Tardas Tasabara Pada Renu Mora Panchagras.
Chai Gosya Jar Muitardas Ta Sabara Padana Renu Mora Panchagras
Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sane Bas Jana Me Hoi E Abilas.
Tadera Charane Sebish Bhakti Sane Bas Janame Hoi Abilas
Chai Gosai Jabe Braje Koila Bas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakash.
Chai Gosai Jabe Braje Kolabas Ratha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakas
Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Brindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Man.
Anande Bolo Hari Braja Brindaban Shri Guru Vaishnava Padma Jayaman
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Kori Ash Naruttama Dasa Koim Nama Sankirtan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Korias Narotama Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtanam.
This song normally goes kind of fast. So I'm singing like that, but I know first time is hard. Okay, translation. O Lord Hari, O Lord Krishna, I offer my obeisances to you, who are known as Hari, Yadava, Madhava, and Keshava. O Gopal, Govinda, Ram, Sri Madhusudana, Giridhari, Gopinath, and Madan Mohan. All glories to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda. All glories to Sri Advaita Acharya and his consort Sri Sita Thakurani. All glories to Lord Hari, to the spiritual master, to the Vaishnavas, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. I offer my obeisances to the feet of these 6 Goswamis. Bowing to them destroys all obstacles to devotional service and fulfills all spiritual desires. I am the servant of that person who is a servant. I am a servant of that person who is a servant of these 6 Goswamis. The dust of their lotus feet is my 5 kinds of foods. This is my desire, that birth after birth I may live with those devotees who serve the lotus feet of these 6 Goswamis. When these 6 Goswamis lived in Braja, they revealed the lost holy places and explained the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Just shout the names of Lord Hari in great ecstasy and worship the transcendental realm of Vrindavan while absorbing your mind in meditation upon the divine feet of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. Desiring to serve the lotus feet of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, Narottama Das sings the Sankirtan of the holy names of Lord Hari. So now we go on to Srila Prabhupada Nectar book. And I know the heat and this everything is hot, it's bad, but we're working on that. Give me a day or two. So continuing on, Srila Prabhupada Nectar. We're still in volume 1, chapter 1, and number 18. When Srila Prabhupada flew on planes, his servants carried his silver plates and served him full meals. His disciples usually cooked much more for his travels than he would eat. One time, Srila Prabhupada asked to eat just before the plane was to take off. The stewardesses were making preparations for departure. The Srila Prabhupada's servant brought him his prasadam, which had been recently cooked at the temple. Prabhupada sat alone, undisturbed, as the other passengers looked at him, buckled their seat belts, and put their trays and seats in the upright position. Somehow the stewardess didn't insist on Prabhupada's conforming, so he continued calmly eating as the jet sped down the runway. His servant anxiously held on to the drinking cups while Prabhupada ate his meal with no notice or care for his surroundings. Only when the plane was high in the air did Prabhupada finish. Turning to his servant, he said, "All right, you can take these away now." What Srila Prabhupada didn't eat on from his plate. You can take this away now. At one of the ISKCON International Festivals in Vrindavan, Prabhupada rejected the singing of one of his disciples. The devotee had previously been a singer in a band, and his kirtans were very much appreciated by some devotees, especially those from his home temple. But when, with showy professionalism, he began leading the Guru Puja in Srila Prabhupada's presence, making the tune sound like a rock and roll ballad, Prabhupada didn't like it. He shook his head and indicated that someone else lead. The great kirtan singer was devastated by the rejection, another form of Prabhupada's mercy. Yes, Srila Prabhupada looked for the devotion. He didn't look that someone had a good singing voice, someone was an expert singer. He was looking for the devotional attitude. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta also, during Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's, when he was close to leaving his body, he asked a particular disciple to sing some particular song, devotional song. And others were there who could, this particular disciple didn't sing all that well, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta apparently appreciated his devotion. So he asked him to sing. And others were who could sing much nicer were saying, "Oh well, why not this one? Why not that one? We can do better." But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, "No, I want this devotee to sing." So for the pure devotees, what really counts is the devotion, and that's important because most of us, including me, are not very good at most things. But we all have the same opportunity to develop and express our devotion by engaging in our particular devotional service the best that we can. So that's what we have. Becoming Krishna conscious and pleasing Krishna does not in any way depend on material conditions. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be expert at any particular thing. All you have to do is have a sincere desire to serve Krishna nicely and do the best you can. Srila Prabhupada wrote to me once. I wrote to Srila Prabhupada once, and he replied, and I was very concerned about my. In those days, there was a lot of emphasis on Sankirtan, selling Srila Prabhupada's books. Everyone in the temple was out trying to sell Srila Prabhupada's books, back to Godhead magazines for the most part, at that particular point. This was back in 1971. So he, and we were told that, okay, if you want to please Srila Prabhupada, you have to sell books. And the more books you could sell, the more you please Srila Prabhupada. And we're sending in and every week we're sending the results, everyone's results to Srila Prabhupada. Here's so-and-so did this many books, so-and-so did this many books. So, of course, I couldn't do much. I pretty much was zero all the time. So I was very concerned because based on the preaching, Srila Prabhupada would be displeased if you were not selling lots of books. He's only pleased with you if you were selling books. And the more books you sold, the more pleased he was. So in the competition, temple competition, transcendental competition it's called. I was always in last place, no matter what. I was always in last place. So I was very concerned about that. So I wrote to Srila Prabhupada about my concern, about how I was feeling. And so he wrote back, he says that Krishna is not so much concerned with what we give, but with what we keep back for ourselves. The main thing is we serve Krishna the best we can. So that means that if we have a lot of ability to do something for Krishna and we're not doing that, then we're not giving everything we can give, then that means we're holding back for ourselves. Then Krishna is not so pleased with that. But we all can do something. So whatever we can do, we should do it and do the best we can do of it, and that is what will please Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada gave an example in his letter to me. There was a devotee, an associate of Lord Chaitanya, whose name was Kolavecha Sridhar. He's mentioned in Nectar of Devotion, the beginning part. Kolavecha Sridhar was very poor, very, very poor. He made his living by making cups and plates out of banana leaves. Even today, with inflation and everything, you get big stacks of banana leaves for very little. They take the leaves and put them together with little twigs and like that, and people eat on them one time. That's the real ecologically friendly way to eat. So you eat and then you throw your plate away, and it just dissolves in the nature. So anyway, he was doing like that, and he made, I don't know how much he made, but very little. But he was a devotee of the Lord, and he would, whatever little bit of income he got from this selling of these leaf plates and cups, he would spend half of that in worshiping the sacred river, the Ganges River, the sacred river. So whatever he had, which was almost nothing, he would give half for worshiping Ganges River. So Srila Prabhupada gave that example. He is so little, but he was so pleasing to Lord Chaitanya because of the little bit he had, he gave so much in devotional service, like that. That was just in terms of money, but he had his devotion. So we all have some ability to do something. We don't have to be rich. We don't have to be anything. but whatever ability we have, we use it the best that we can in the Lord's service. So, in what we just read here about the kirtan singing, here's someone who had, in this case, he had ability, but his he was apparently thinking of himself more like a famous singer, and Srila Prabhupada didn't like his style because it was apparently Srila Prabhupada saw that it was not the devotion was lacking, and he wanted somebody else to sing. That's the understanding here. Okay, going on. For a time in Mayapur, the two Bengali ladies were cooking a large feast of about 25 preparations and sending it over to Srila Prabhupada at his mealtime. But he was eating very little of it. "I'm eating with my eyes," he laughed. He then described how in the old days in Bengal, aristocratic people would invite one another for meals. One would prepare a huge sumptuous feast, and another would come and appreciate how it was cooked and arranged so nicely. The guests would merely look at the feast and say, "Oh, very nicely done." Then all the servants would actually eat it. You cook for a friend, they appreciate your cooking, appreciate how you did everything so nicely, and then they would give it away to the servants. And they wouldn't actually eat it themselves. I guess for them it was more important to do it and have someone appreciate their cooking. But the guests would merely look at the feast and say, "Oh, very nicely done." Then all the servants would actually eat it.
So it was just for the show?
Well, I'm sure what they cooked was way more than what anyone could eat. That's how the paragraph started. They cooked a huge amount for Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada didn't eat very much. Srila Prabhupada ate about this much in a day, in a meal. He said there. He says stomach is about this size, and he says the Vedic system, Ayurvedic system, is a normal stomach. If someone's really fat, they have a bigger stomach. But say a stomach is that size, and then so he says you fill your stomach 50% with food, 25% for 25% with water, and leave 25% for air so that it can digest properly.
So 50% for the food, 25%
For
water,
water,
another
25% for air. It means you leave it. So of course, we all eat more than that. Maybe our stomachs are bigger, but that's the general principle. As far as good digestion goes. Yeah. And then you can cook a 50-course meal. You can cook a 50-course meal for Krishna.
50 course.
Okay. Number 19. And Krishna does eat with his eyes.
Krishna eats with his eyes?
Of course.
I think I should eat with my eyes as well.
Well, Krishna can eat with his eyes. He accepts it with his eyes. And sometimes he'll show special mercy and actually eat it with his mouth and it disappears. But he eats with his eyes, and that way we have prasadam. Because if he ate with his mouth, then there would be nothing left for us, and we would not be able to make spiritual advancement by taking his remnants, right? So Krishna eats with his eyes, and he especially likes the devotion. It doesn't have to be something super anything, but he likes the devotion. Okay. Number 19. Srila Prabhupada was very good at imitating the sounds of men, animals, and machines. He did not do it by any gross oral manipulations or as modern comedians do, but by the use of onomatopoetic sound and even Sanskrit derivations. He also did it to prove a Krishna conscious point. Okay, now. One time in Beverly Hills, Prabhupada gave a whole tour de force. It's probably another language I may not be pronouncing right, of imitative sounds. Prabhupada had been alone writing when his servant went into his room. Prabhupada began speaking. There are so many material sounds. Just now, I was listening, and I could hear the freeway. Prabhupada then imitated the cars. The sound he made for the cars might be written down as woo, woo. But it is not possible to capture the actual sound in print. And even by imitating the sound, it gave an exact impression of what cars sound like on the freeway. Prabhupada's car sound even included a criticism of the foolish endeavors of the highway rushing karmis. And in the alley, says Srila Prabhupada, the garbage truck is coming. He then made another perfect imitation. I also hear these birds, said Prabhupada. Someone nearby has roosters. Prabhupada then gave a Sanskrit version of cock-a-doodle-doo, which was also perfect. But someday, said Prabhupada, and then he became completely quiet. The whole conversation had been taking place in the early morning in Prabhupada's room, and therefore, when he became silent, it seemed like the whole world was silent. He repeated, and then someday, suddenly Prabhupada imitated an exploding bomb. The atom bomb will go off, and it will all be finished. Number 20. Once in Vrindavan, Prabhupada noticed that some of his men disciples were letting their hair grow. Different men had their reasons for growing hair, so Prabhupada had not said anything, but one day in the presence of his servant, Harisari, and Bhagavat Das, Prabhupada expressed his displeasure. Turning to Bhagavat Das, he said, "You look very beautiful by keeping hairs. What is your explanation?" "Oh, I was advised," said Bhagavat, "that because I was going to European countries, it would be required to keep this hair. But they have won victory in the court by keeping shaven head," said Prabhupada, referring to a recent New York court case. "I asked their advice," said Bhagavat, "whether I should shave or keep the hair." Bhagavat was about to say more, but Prabhupada interrupted him. "What is this nonsense advice? Who is the rascal's advice? By keeping hair, you become beautiful. This is without advice. This mentality of growing thick hair. We are known as shaven-headed, the whole society." Harisari attempted to explain his own case, saying, "It is about 3 weeks since but Prabhupada interrupted him. "Every fortnight at least." Fortnight's 2 weeks. "Every fortnight at least," said Srila Prabhupada. And then again he turned to Bhagavat. "Before going to Europe 6 years ago, you were keeping hairs like that." "Oh, I have to go to Europe. That I have seen. You like to keep hairs. That hippie mentality is going on." Now, Srila Prabhupada, when the very started, and it wasn't stated in this particular passage, but when some of his early disciples started letting their hair grow again. The men disciples, the women didn't matter. They grew long hair, but the men started growing long. They're letting their hair grow and growing beards and these kind of things, which is again happening in ISKCON. So when that was happening, Srila Prabhupada would refer to it. He called it hippie seeds. Hippie seeds, because many of the early disciples had been hippies, and had very long hair and like that, and Srila Prabhupada helped them to become free from that situation by becoming Krishna conscious. But he said, if you start keeping long hair again, then it will bring back your old tendency, like that. So he said, hippie seeds. You're like planting seeds and things, and it grows. So he would. So Srila Prabhupada didn't like that. He liked the men to keep very short hair or shaven heads.
Why do we see yogis always? Why do we see that yogis are always depicted with long hair and beard? They just don't care about their appearance, or
Which people with long hair and beards?
yogis. Why they're always depicted like with
Yeah.
long hair and beard?
Yes. That's different. Basically, you're either you keep your hair short or you never cut it. It's two systems.
Two opposites.
Yeah. So the big yogis, they just wouldn't, they didn't bother with shaving, but their whole life, 24 hours a day, was how to become detached from that bodily concept of life.
They just didn't care about the appearance at all.
Yeah, they didn't care. They didn't care, and it was not. And also, those who were practicing that yoga system, they had to, from the beginning of their life, they had to basically be following the regulative principles, because that yoga system doesn't work if you're somebody's accustomed in modern society to sex and non-vegetarian diet and these kind of things, and then decides, okay, I've decided I'm going to practice mystic yoga. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to meditate. You follow that system. It will not be possible, because it means that because once you have had engaged in any of those sinful activities, then you'll never be able to control your mind in that yoga system. So they didn't. Whereas those who came from hippie backgrounds were accustomed. I mean, that was normal life, meant illicit sex and intoxication, LSD and marijuana and all kinds of nonsense things. So these things were going on. So Srila Prabhupada said, okay, you got to cut all this, and you also keep your hair short for the men. So Srila Prabhupada didn't. So Srila Prabhupada wanted men at least to keep short hair or shaven heads. And I know the arguments are being. I hear the arguments because I'm seeing a lot of this in the devotees now. Mustache, beards for the men, and it's a lot of. There are many who are taking these things up again, and they argue and they say, "Well, we see pictures of some of Lord Chaitanya's associates. Advaita Acharya had long hair and beard and like that. Yeah, we see pictures on the altar of Gorkachordas Babaji had a beard. We sometimes see a picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta with a beard. Sometimes we see old pictures of Srila Prabhupada. He had a mustache when he was younger. So regarding Srila Prabhupada and the mustache, he said that was India tradition at the time. He says, but after I got initiated, before initiation, he cut the mustache. He never had a mustache after that. So Srila Prabhupada. So these are, of course, our initiated devotees who are making these arguments to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, but after I was initiated, I didn't have mustache anymore. And the other acharyas, like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who would be seen sometimes having beard like that, he said, yeah, Srila Prabhupada said that's because they are practicing Chaturmasya. Chaturmasya means it's 4 months during the rainy season, which I think we're...
It is actually happening right now.
Yeah, yeah. So
after the Guru Purnima, right?
it should be going on right now, yes. So, so if you're really following it, I mean, there's a lot of rules and regulations if you're really following it. Srila Prabhupada didn't really push that we should follow all that. But if you're really following it, then yes, the men may not shave, but there's a lot of austerities that go with it. So don't just say, don't just say I'm going to not shave. Srila Prabhupada says the acharyas that were you see like that with beard and everything, it's because they were at that moment, at that time, they were following the Chaturmasya, and otherwise they also didn't have long beards and everything like that.
What are some other austerities that we can follow?
That we can follow?
Yes.
The
We
Chaturmasya?
can perform, yes.
Well, our calendar always says first month of Chaturmasya, no spinach, I think it says.
No spinach?
I believe so. Yeah. Second month is no yogurt.
Oh, so there are just some food restrictions.
Like that. Yeah, pretty much. Third month says no milk, as milk. And then fourth month it says no urid dal. And there's also no some other dal called Masura dal or something. It's red. It's a red dal. So we never see urid dal here hardly. And but anyway, these were the calendar will say like that.
Yeah, but besides food restrictions, any other austerities that...
You can always chant. You can always chant more japa.
Yes, okay.
It's a good time to start chanting some more japa, like that. There's these are the practical things that we can do as far as really following Chaturmasya. I don't think Srila Prabhupada followed it himself in the strict sense. It was not necessary. But it is there in Vedic culture. Srila Prabhupada gave us the essence, the most important things. I can look up with the other rules and regulations where I don't recall right off. I only know those 4 food restrictions. Eating 1 time a day. You eat some kind of. You don't eat off of a plate. Your food's on the ground. You eat it up like that. Yeah, without your hands. These kind of things are there. It's really meant for extra austerity. But Srila Prabhupada didn't. He said, okay, if you want to, but follow the whole thing. But it was not practical to really do all that, and it's not really necessary as far as becoming Krishna conscious. But if you're interested, I'll look up what the actual rules are.
So no spinach this month.
Yeah, it actually says no. Especially says no spinach, but it also says no leafy vegetables.
No leafy vegetables?
Yeah. That's the general principle. And of course, that includes a lot of, But again, Srila Prabhupada didn't so much emphasize these things, but that's the basic. Like that. Read a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read one more section. Srila Prabhupada regularly gave out cookies from the Vyasasan, but on a visit to New Vrindavan, he once gave out an entire meal of prasadam right off the deity's plate. Radhanath Das had a strong desire to approach Srila Prabhupada with the deity's plate immediately after offering it to Radha Vrindavan Chandra. So he rather boldly approached Srila Prabhupada on the Vyasasan. At first, he had been stopped by Srila Prabhupada's secretary, Pushta Krishna, who asked, "Where are the cookies?" Radhanath said they had none, only this full deity plate. "Forget it," said Pushta Krishna. You can't give out that kind of stuff. But Radhanath managed to approach Srila Prabhupada from a different direction. When Srila Prabhupada saw the plate, he smiled, took it up, and began sampling each preparation with a spoon. He took a spoonful of sweet rice, tasted it, and then began handing out spoonfuls. Over 100 devotees were present, and they rushed forward, unlike their usual formal lines of receiving a cookie. Prabhupada went from prasadam, from preparation to preparation, eating a few spoonfuls of sabji, and then distributing it to the urgent, outstretched hands of the surrounding devotees. After finishing each preparation, he also gave away the silver bowl. Finally, all that was left were 2 large gulab jamans. Children began to cry out, "Prabhupada, give it to me." Srila Prabhupada took his time, and at last he shook his head no. He took the gulab jamun up himself and bit into it. At the first bite, the gulab jamun juice squirted out, wetting several nearby devotees, who began dancing and shouting. After 2 bites, Srila Prabhupada gave out the remnants of the gulab jamun. His first bite of the second gulab jamun also produced a stream of juice, and by now the whole temple room was turned into a state of happy pandemonium. The whole episode lasted about 15 minutes, and Srila Prabhupada was obviously feeling great enjoyment, laughing and watching everyone trying to get the Mahaprasadam from his hand. So, yes, Srila Prabhupada would always go, wherever he would go, including when he came to Miami Temple, devotees would always, he would always request a big plate of cookies. And he would, I guess, take a bite out of one, but then he would hand them out to everyone who came. To everyone. And that way. So in this particular case, they brought him actually the deity plate. And it sounds like Srila Prabhupada actually ate right off of the deity plate, which we cannot do, but we offered to Srila Prabhupada anyway. So it's a special circumstance. So Srila Prabhupada is eating little samples of it and then giving it out to everyone who was there. And to get the remnants of get deity remnants prasadam is special, of course. And this becomes Mahaprasadam. You're taking the deity's offering and the spiritual masters eating and giving, and now it becomes Mahaprasadam. It's more spiritually beneficial like that. It's 8:28. Any other questions? Hold on a second. Let me just see if anyone said anything here. No questions. Okay, so we will end here for now. Tomorrow we will be back on Srimad Bhagavatam.